First of all, good evening, and thank you very much for being here tonight. Welcome to 2025 Corolla Board Candidate Forum. My name is Joe Allen, and I'm going to be a moderator to the 20-year resident, approximately 20-year resident celebration I live here in Bay Village. Before we begin, I'd like to thank the candidates for their willingness to volunteer and serve as potentially the Celebration Residential Owners Association Board of Directors members. Volunteering the board ensures that our residents have a voice in the community's future, foster the values of the sense of belonging, and help maintain and increase property values. I'd like to thank the audience for being here tonight, both those who are here in person and online for your participation, and to management and their staff for supporting and organizing this event. I also would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the members of the Corolla Board of Directors for allowing me here tonight to moderate this forum. So with that, just a reminder, very important, the voting will open on Monday, February 3rd, and will close on Tuesday, March 4th at 5:30 p.m. So those are dates, very important dates. We'll go through tonight's ground. There's not many, but first of all, I'd ask you all to please silence your phone, put them on mute, everyone vote to the mark, please. We also ask the audience refrain from sharing. Sharing. We have one time for questions. Tonight's questions were drawn from previous candidate forums, committee inputs, and from myself. The Corolla Board and management were not involved in the selecting of these questions, and the candidates have not seen these questions in advance. Lastly, candidates, your presence here tonight constitutes agreement to these ground rules. Please avoid any personal attack. Fine. First of all, the format for tonight is all the candidates will all answer each question. So I'll ask question one, all five will answer, and we'll go on. And the way we'll work that is I'll ask the questions and we'll rotate alphabetically. So Omar, I'll ask you the first question first, and then Bill, etc. will answer it. For the second question, Bill will start with you, and everybody will answer to Omar, Marco, question 3, etc. So everybody will have a chance to be first, everybody will have a chance to be last as we rotate through the questions. In terms of time limit, each candidate will have 90 seconds to answer the questions. Although we have our timekeeper, and she will indicate with the yellow sign when we have 30 seconds left. And we'll have then you'll stay at a red card, the old stop card, and that says please stop, wrap up. If for whatever reason you continue past stop sign, I will gently remind you to please wrap up. Okay, additional opportunity for the candidates. You'll have a chance, perhaps even after tonight's meeting, to talk to the candidates. But formally, there will be the candidate meet and greet Wednesday, February 19th at 6 p.m. right here at Heritage Hall. Okay, so now we're going to begin. Before we get into the questions that have been selected, each candidate will have up to 9 seconds to introduce himself, starting alphabetically with Omar. I'll ask you to please state your first and your last name. And so with that, this forum is officially starting. And Omar, you can introduce yourself.
Hello. Hello. I moved here in 2000 and with 2 lovely daughters. My background is in real estate and investments. And one of the reasons why I kind of the board is because I'm going to be here at least for 10 to 15 years, as my kids are just in kindergarten and 2nd grade. So obviously, make sure that I'm trying to be the best celebration member possible.
My name is Bill Long. I purchased a home here in 2017 as a vacation home, and my wife and my daughter and I moved here full-time in 2022. we absolutely love this community. It was really an interesting thing that when we would come here on vacation, we knew more of our neighbors on our street in Celebration than we did at our home back in Virginia. And that was a real indication of how special this community is, from its design to its input to just everything that makes Celebration unique. I work for a media company that is in lots of different arenas, from radio to television to print. And I have served on 3 nonprofit boards prior to coming to Celebration full time. And currently I'm the chair of the CROA Technology Committee, and I served this summer on the contract review task force. That was part of what the board asked volunteers to do. So I too want to retire here and live here long term, and I too want the best Celebration that we can have to live in and grow in and continue to grow as a community.
Evening. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here tonight. My name is Marco Messa. I'm being as resident here since 2016. My background is law. I am an attorney in Brazil. I'm come from Brazil, São Paulo. I live in Carlisle South, 620 Campus Street, with my adorable wife who is here tonight. Thank you, honey. And I have 2 kids, Antonio and Mariana. Mariana has 18, Antonio 15. I already serving the CROA board. I'm already serving in the Parks and Rec Committee. I'm already serving in the Special Events Committee with Dory and Debbie. They're awesome. And on the Master Plan Advisory Group with Joey as well. Thank you, Joey. So we have a lot to do. And I will be, if I will be elected, I will be always proactive for the CROA. You'll be 1 vote to the best of the residents. Thank you. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nicole Blind-Meisenthal, and I have a family here. My son, Adequan Reagan, who is 10 going on 11, and my husband, David. David would have loved to join the board. We have a home in New York as well, so he is primarily there with his business. And we are here kind of living, vacationing, having the time of our lives. We were part of when the new models came to Celebration. We had always vacationed here 2-3 times a year. So it made sense for us to look into moving to Celebration. We fell in love with the homes, townhomes, and after quite a few years, we just moved here in December, and I found out there was an opportunity to be on the board. It's really thrilled to be a part of this. With him being young, and we took a little stint in California for 3 years, we realized that the safety, the beauty, the wonderful opportunities to ride bikes and just enjoy the parks is really important to us. And we want to bring kind of a down-to-earth seat on the board if possible, and just keep everybody safe and happy and looking as brilliant as it is, so that we can continue for time to come. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm in Celebration with my son, Robert, who is in the audience right now. He's 7 years old. He's typically with me in tow everywhere I go. Here at different board meetings or workshops, but I'm listening, have something to say. I came to Celebration in 2018 when I lived off and on here. When I was in the process of repatriating. When I was repatriated from Singapore, my attorney asked me where I was going to go because we were going to an international divorce. And I said, by golly, I need a Celebration. And I'm going to. And that's what I did. We moved over to Emerson in 2018. And like I said, we lived here off and on until I built a house in Island Village in 2022. So we were in the apartment in 2020 in Celebration, the house in 2022, and we just bought another property a little bit ago and paid that additional capital thing that's voted in favor. So, yeah, we love it here. I love Celebration. I love the town. I love that you can feel like you're a rock star here. You can go anywhere and you know someone. Go to the dog park, you know someone. Go to Publix, you know someone. Go to the playground, you know someone. It is a community, and I think that we're good moving forward now, and I'd like to continue that momentum.
Well, thank you. Very much appreciate it. I'll go through that series of approximately a dozen questions, kind of committee, more. So let's start, and some of these, as I listen to your responses, I'm looking for questions, going to be some natural overlap. Okay. Okay. All right, so we back to overlap. Okay, so let's start with Omar. So what inspired you to run for the Crow Board, and what specifically do you hope to achieve?
The major thing that inspired me to run for okay, is number one, future of my kids. So I'm very much a family man. So like I said, my daughters are 5 and 7. So we're going to be here for at least another 14 or 15 years, not longer. So it's something that I felt as being a homeowner here and a resident, that it should be my duty to try to improve not only the life of my kids, but also to fellow residents that live here as well. So that was one of the biggest things that really pushed me towards that. Also too, with my background in real estate development and investments and running a lot of big projects that our development does here in Orlando and also throughout Florida, figured that that would be good to kind of see what's going on the board and then try to get my expertise as much as I can.
So the question is, what inspired us to run this time and what do we hope to do?
And what do you specifically hope to achieve?
Hope to achieve. I think what inspired me to run this time was a sense of serving our community. This community takes a lot of people volunteering to do the great things that we do. And so in that spirit of volunteerism, that's probably my initial impetus for it. As we've gone along over the last 2 years, we've encountered a lot of different issues that have come to the board's attention, from dog park to management contracts to what to do with the 851 building. And I believe that I can be a reasonable voice in those discussions as we try to make big decisions with all of our money. It's our money that we put into this HOA, and how that money is used in a way that is the best it can be, but generally based off a consensus. And so I think I'm open to listen to everybody's point of view and which way they would like to hear. When you run for this position, you hear every opinion under the sun on how things should be done in this town. And so what I specifically hope to do is to continue this community forward, especially the big decisions that have to be made soon about 851 and the master plan advisory group, how we're going to implement that vision. Of course, those are the 2 things I'm focused on.
Okay, not an easy question, right? So what inspired me is Crow. Crow inspired me every day. Since 2010, when I first served here as a soccer coach for the small kids, then 2013 as a head coach for youth soccer. Then when I became a resident in 2016, Crow inspired me. Since Vanessa, Jackson, all the programs that we have in the past, seeing the community together. Thank you, Jacob. Sorry. Seeing the community together, we have all the communities here. We have Paul, Tori, you. This is fine. This is what we could call family without being real family. You know what I mean? So this is inspiring. My objective is to make the master plan happen. It's a well designed. We have a lot of time and knowledge from the community members, and if we can reach the goal, making it happen. Thank you, Jacob. It'll be amazing for our kids in the future. It's not for now. We know that. Thank you.
So specifically, what do I hope to achieve? That's a great question. And when I think of that, I think of my son, I think of the children at Island Village, I think of the children in Celebration, and what opportunities do they have for growth? Because they're going to be us someday. They're going to be the ones who are hopefully going to take over our homes or raise our grandchildren and be a part of our families and our communities. And unlike everyone here, I don't know everyone. And it's really nice to come in and have people say hello and appreciate you for being here. I've always wanted to be a volunteer and I've always wanted to be part of the community. And this is a nice opportunity for me to do that. So in doing that, I really want to make sure that we are a safe community and we continue to be a safe community and do whatever strides we need to do to maintain that. I think it's very important that we have the continuity of celebration. It's what makes it special to us. And I think ultimately it's happiness for everyone involved, whether you're a resident, whether you're on the board, whether you're a part of the community. So that when people come to visit us, they also see that we stand together and that we are one community. Thank you.
Okay, for why I'm running for the board, I'm running for the board again. I think that last year, I participated in a lot of board meetings and workshops and seen how everything was operating, and then participated into them again this year and seeing that there's some positive momentum going on. Master plan obviously is something there, and I've seen how well a project manager even that was installed to do the help with the work with Spring Park was beneficial. So perhaps even that is something that we can look forward as we go in and implement the recommendations for the Master Plan Advisory Group. I mean, in that report, since 2018, there's no amenities that have been there. So you have to have balance, new amenities versus the upkeep of the current amenities. So if we are going to partner together with our management company, we need to have that relationship move better. So perhaps that's initial opportunity there to help it improve. I always referred to Diane for the Spring Park Playground as Mrs. Claus. You know, how she was able to get it done. She wasn't available for December. I'm like, she is Mrs. Claus. She is. So perhaps that kind of additional resource. We have a town architect. We have a town landscaper. Perhaps we need a town project manager for other options to continue the growth and celebration and continue its improvement, because we are all in here most likely for the long run.
Next question, start with Bill. What specific experience or skills do you bring to the board? Okay, leadership skills, management skills, conflict, resolution skills, etc.
In my day job, I'm a senior vice president and general manager. I have a staff of 26 people and 35 independent contractors that work with me. I don't say for me, I say with me. And that's the view I bring to every project I'm a part of. I'm a member. Even though I may be in a seat of leadership, I'm really serving the rest of the team so that they can do their very best work. As far as skill sets, in my day job, I have profit and loss responsibilities, so I know how to read a financial statement. In my day job, I have to read contracts and review them before I pass them to the legal team. So having that skill set of being able to read dry, long, boring documents is part of what I bring to the table. But ultimately, it's a servant attitude towards leadership that I think that I've exhibited in the multiple boards that I've served on, as well as every day with my team.
Okay. So, and bring to the table expertise from HOA. I'm being in Lucaya Village since 2013. I'm president since 2016 and remains president over there. West Lucaya is the same. And Carlisle here, celebration, Carlisle South. I'm a vice president, so I bring expertise for HOAs and helping to build budget that fit in very affordable HOA fees. Besides that, I'm also a soccer person. I'm the soccer jet for Orlando City. SS, I brought to celebration in 2019. The Orlando City celebration is the first soccer school for youth. So we are glad to have them today. On these days, we are the last champions from UPSL, EDP, CSL. So I brought joy, health things for the kids, sense of community. So this is my expertise.
So as far as what I bring to the board or could bring to the community, I was a summer school principal for many years. I have a degree in administration from St. John Fisher College in New York. And that has brought me a lot of opportunities, both educationally and bigger because I also had some paralegal background. I worked for a real estate paralegal. I'm also just left a teaching job and I probably will be working at one of the schools again next year or possibly this year as I'm working on that. So I was a 5th grade and 4th grade teacher where that comes in for a lot of the conflict resolution, as does a principal role in the school system. As you know, they're constant, whether they're small tiffs or whether they're big staff issues or things like that. I do have a lot of training in all of those areas, and that has been really beneficial for me in life. And I know that it could be here as well. Thank you.
I was always told that if you're gonna say something, you better do something also. It's one thing to complain, but it's another thing to actually try and have positive change affected based on your comments and your observations. When I was working, I retired in 2019. I was working for a German IT software company who just reported their earnings and looks like they're doing pretty good. As such, when I was working in Singapore, I worked at a regional level, dealing with people who didn't even speak English. Okay? Didn't even speak my language. They had to listen to it, then it had to be translated, then they had to speak, then it had to be translated. All that patience, all that interaction, working with people in very different geographies has taught me also that, not everyone who's in the same area is homogenous, nor do they have all the same ideas. People in different villages have different ideas. People at different age groups have different ideas. They're not all collectively one celebration, unfortunately. All right, but we can work towards unifying. We can work towards continuing that positive momentum. When I was working in software, my background is in finance. Originally, I was training for medical school. You don't want me as your doctor. Okay. You don't. But from a financial perspective, I'm a money person. I'm a numbers person. I was responsible for looking after 35 million euros every year all over Asia, looking at the finance solution. I can work together with anyone. Dealt with the many difficult people who didn't even speak my language. I didn't speak theirs, but we were able to reach consensus.
Resolution. Well, I come from a house of 3 women. There's that. And then I manage a team of real estate agents. So my team is pretty big. We have a team of 50 people, and that's all the way from attorneys to project managers, to engineers on our team. So we started the company about 6 years ago now. We've been doing really well. And one of the things that I do bring on the board is that when it comes to dealing with that many people, that many different personalities, I have to make sure that we go in, not only me, but everyone on the team has to go in with an open mind and understand that we're trying to get to the finish line for whatever our investor hires us for. So with that, yes, sometimes we do come into some conflicts, but at the end of the day, we have to vote to see that we're the team to move forward. So know how to read contracts. I know how to stay on budget. So that's one of the things that I can really bring to the table.
Thank you all very much. Next question, I think several of you already touched upon this, so I'm asking you to answer it again. How active have you been as a volunteer or resident with regards to celebration, its events, core committees, and meetings, committee meetings, board meetings, etc.?
I'm already doing that, right? I'm already going to 90% of the CROA meetings and not all the committees, but the Parks and Rec, Special Events Committee. I had yesterday in the town hall as a service areas. I was in shock how Jacob exposed himself trying to explain for the owners. He did a great job yesterday. That's amazing. And working with this kind of professional make me feel very honored. So I'm already doing that. So meetings by meetings, and I love to do that. If I don't have time, I'll make time to make it happen, because being together with people like you and like this. Your presence is amazing. We are learning all the time. Thank you.
So as far as celebration, I do not have much to say. Literally just moved here. We were here for a week and then we left for a few months. So we're back at it. We're here. As far as outside, I don't know. I do have a lot of volunteer opportunities that I was a part of. I was a part of CASA for many years, in foster care placement situation for students and children that have been taken from the home or to be removed from the home. So I had opportunities with that for several years, and I helped several children get through some of their most difficult moments of their lives and get most of the time placed back into their homes with a lot of training and a lot of support. I also, in my son's school, I did so much volunteering that they said, why don't you stop volunteering and take a salary? So that wound up happening after a good 2 years of volunteering constantly in the classroom, in the school, wherever I could. So that is part of what I do. People person, I'm a kid person especially. So just those are the opportunities, and I would like to be a part of celebration, whether on at the volunteer opportunities to come to all the meetings. So thank you.
I have seen the activities and been participated in various board meetings and attended various workshops. Not only do I live in the community, I live in the community. In the morning, you'll find me at the dog park. Then you'll see me on the tennis courts. I could literally probably do a maintenance check on many, many different areas of the community on any given day. Volunteer wise, I am a scout leader. It's my second year. I participate with them. We were there for the marathon. Wow, that was a wonderful event. Even if I don't run, which I don't, just to be a part of that. Just did my little part with bag check, just to see people crossing the finish line. It was wonderful. A lot of people in this community aren't very active. So when they notice things, they don't even know about the My Celebration app. You know, various things, just getting people in tune of what they can do to get their messages out, and to get the feedback in. Kids Night Out, my son absolutely loves all that programming. So making sure that Nikki and her team get that positive praise, passing on the thank yous. A lot of times you don't get thank yous. I realize that. It's a bit of a thankless job. But when a job is done well, people need to know about it. And those successes need to be celebrated. But that's the thing, being involved as a leader. Continue the momentum and it's positive in this community.
As far as being active in the community, that just pretty much started about 6 months ago. As I'm kind of taking a step back, because now I have GM taking over my position. So with my daughter doing a lot of the sports around, my 7-year-old, so I've been involved with the swimming. Coach Kelly just left, but now this year I just found out that I'm going to be the head softball coach for the 7-year-old. So I'll be involved doing that. Before that, I was actually, and this year we're also, my wife has taken a big part of the community with the women's shelter. We're actually running a donation March 9th at the Celebration Brewery. We're going to be helping raise money for the women's shelter that my wife is part of. Before that, I was actually a very good friend of mine. He ran a kind of like a father's program, first time fathers, over in Orlando, and I was involved with that heavily. So now in turn that I'm kind of taking, I'm not as much needed in the office as I used to be. Now I'm looking to focus more in the community and spend more time with my kids within the community.
Since November of 2023, I've been involved with the Grow Tech Committee at the urging of my friend Tom Hull. He said you should join, and so I joined, and it's been a really interesting part of seeing how the community works through the technology committee lens. I'm also, this summer, I participated on the Management Contract Review Task Force. I was one of 7 members. I see some familiar faces that saw some of those meetings. And it was really an interesting process to dive into the contract that we have, look at the bylaws, look at the charter of this community and see how everything lines up. And the good news was a lot of the answers to some of the questions about how we as a board interact with management was already covered in the groundwork there. As far as attendance on board meetings. I come to a few, but almost always watch them on YouTube later at 1.5 speed. You all talk great, really fast. And then I do the same thing with some of the workshops that happen. But if you want to understand how I serve, you can watch the meetings I lead for the tech committee and see how I work with the team and how I really want everybody to talk and get their ideas on the table before we make a decision.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. All right, next question. What are the top issues affecting celebration? What projects specifically would you like to champion or initiative would you like to champion during your term?
So for me, being new, something I have noticed as a lot of signs and things that are not as well established as I would have thought. So when I first came in, I said, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love how they have the private residence signs on there. I love how they have this. I love how they have that. And then I found out the other day that those things aren't actually allowed. So I was like, oh, okay, but they made me feel safe. They make us feel safe. Little things like having a private residence sign or having a alarm sign, they just make you feel like you're in a great place in a great neighborhood and you're feeling really, really good about it. I think I'd like to see a more continuity of what, not just reading what is allowed, but understanding what is allowed and what isn't allowed. So the kids know where they can play, so the dogs know where they can walk. One of the conflicts I have is I'm bike riding a lot and I don't know, am I allowed? I see all these kids on the sidewalks with the electric bikes. Are we allowed on there? Where do I find that quick if I'm just a person who just got a new bike for Christmas? So those are some things. I would love a deeper pool. I don't think there's anything we can do about that at this phase. Love a deeper pool. I heard about the swimming and I'd like to know a little bit more, like if there's a swim club or something that my son could participate in. So that's all I have for now. And as I get to know things, I will continue.
From a project perspective, I think that my top 3 would be 851. 851 being a town hall. What are we going to do with 851? That even our current president that was his priority when he was here on this forum. That was all he reiterated. Nothing will be done. 851. Okay, so 851 needs to be addressed. The second one, I think it's the dog park. I mean, I love my dog. I would like to see the dog park up to snuff. Literally, it can be approved February 11th. There's a meeting by 6:30. We would like to know if we could bring our dogs to that meeting actually, because they are the customer, but it might be a little too disruptive. For the third one, I do think, and it was brought up last year in February of 2024 about the quotes for heating the pool. I would like to see the quotes or at least some progress made for heating an additional pool. Kelly, who walked out, I mean, the swim team, I don't really know what they're doing. But when my kids accept swim lessons, you can only do so much driving. Okay, the residents, not just the swim team, we should have another option. And I don't necessarily think that that was explored properly or sufficiently previously. So I would like to see those 3: town hall, dog park, heating possibilities.
So 851 building is definitely my top thing on there. Never there, being that I have 2 young kids, sooner or later they're going to be teenagers. So one thing that this community is really good at, providing anything and everything from a kid from 1 to about 7 to 8 to 9 years old. What about when they get after that? You know, right now, all we see in the forums and kids are doing this, kids are throwing pool chairs and in the pool and whatnot. Well, we have nothing for them. So I would like for us to do something, at least look into that in the future. And then also to technology wise, back when Celebration was created, it was one of the top notch communities. Now we have like places like Lake Nona that have surpassed us when it comes to technology and being future and being future forward. And then to one of the last things is I love how we have a lot of visitors coming to this town, but at the same time, you know, how do we make money from that? So then that our HOA fees don't always go. So how do we really look into that to where, great, welcome to our town, but you know what? There's a pay to play.
Well, I think 851 is an important topic. Everybody's brought it up tonight. But that's going to be a big portion of our capital budget. That's why it's so important, because we only have so much money in the capital reserve. We only have so much revenue. Sales are kind of slow in the community. Replenishing that capital fund is going to take some time. I don't want to sound like a grumpy old man, because I'm not. But I think we really need to do something about the kids with the electric bikes. I've seen more kids blow through more stop signs at speeds higher than 25 miles an hour. And I know that everybody says they're speed limited. I think the kids have tweaked these bikes and have done something, because I've seen kids downtown zipping around in traffic. We need to figure out, if it's on the street, it's Osceola County. If it's on the sidewalk, CCDD has some control. If it's on a pathway, that's us, that's CROA. So I think we need to talk about some kind of education for the community, because somebody's going to get hurt. And then the last thing is just to make sure that we continue to preserve our relationships with the other organizations in town. CCDD, Canoa, Lexan, all of us need to work together to keep this community the great thing that it is.
AP Film Beauty is top 3 for everybody, right? And this is something that everybody agrees, like Kate, Don, Eric, Charles, and Jared, all of them, since day one, they're working hard for that, and we are getting there. For who is following the meetings, we are getting there. So, but we don't want to hurt the budget, and to make sure that we are not hurting the budget, we have Mike and James here, don't let us hurt the budget at all. So we need to follow the reserve study. This is very important, and we need to be under that. After that, we have the Master Plan Advisory Committee, who is doing an amazing job. We already started the splash pad. Congratulations, Juan, you're doing a great job over there. And we have the Lot B. I believe they are working on RFP, right, Andrew, for the Lot B, if I'm not wrong, for multiple boost courts. And after that, they are already working with the Capling for the 851 building. So we are getting there. If we can work together, we can do it faster. And I'll make sure if I'll be elected, I'll make it as fast as we can. I'll be one vote for make it happen.
Right, thank you very much. Next question. There is not always consensus on the CROA board. Votes are not always unanimous. Explain how you would handle situations you felt strongly about, but the majority of the board voted differently than you.
I don't like to lose. Okay, I'll just eat. I don't like to lose. When I was younger, my dad would ask my brother and I where we'd want to eat, and immediately I would just yell Olive Garden, whether I wanted to go to the Olive Garden or not. That way I got my way. That's great when you're a child. That's not how you operate when you're an adult. Consensus would be lovely to achieve all the time, and that doesn't mean that it's unanimous. If you strongly believe in something and you have the information and the data to back up your decision and you are on the losing, you don't always get our way. But if you lose the vote, you go with what the decision is. You don't be sour, you don't make a face, you don't make a fuss. You lost the vote, you proceed, and you proceed in that direction that was voted on in the best way possible so that it is a successful endeavor. You don't undermine, you don't do any of these little things. You have to proceed with it. You may not like it, but that's how the people voted, and the people on the board represent the people. There's 7 there. All right, all 7 people were elected for various reasons, for people with different viewpoints, and their vote is just as equal as yours. No vote is weighted. So if you lose, you lose, and if you win, you win. But regardless of outcome, you make sure that outcome is successful to the best of your ability.
Definitely agree on that. The board is independent, and you guys are the ones who voted, so you trust us in some sort of manner through our professionalism. And at the end of the day, when I'm sitting there and I'm listening to either expertise who's speaking, and also thinking about you, and my family as well that lives here, then I'm gonna make the vote the way I think will go towards what I heard from the experts and what I know from this community. I know more than likely I'm not always gonna win, but it is what it is. It's the best of 7, and at least that if we're trying to do the best for our community. That's what I'm gonna be about.
Yeah, I would say support your viewpoint with zeal, but once the decision is made, support. Dissension is wasted energy. I always tell my team, I don't want internal drama in our company. Let's put that energy on the problems, not on people. And so I think argue with zeal when you're in the decision-making process for your point of view, but once the consensus decision has been made, support it fully in public.
Okay. Every meeting we heard that the board is broken, your board is divided, or something like that. Every single meeting that the Crow board does. I see different. I see everybody wants the best for celebration, but we are different way to paddle our boat. But we want the same, want the best for celebration. Like me and my wife in my house, and we have different thoughts, but want the best for our home. So having different thoughts make we grow as a person, as a professional. So I don't see the board is divided. I don't see that. I truly believe that we are all together for the same target. We just have different thoughts.
So I think it's really important to be, have the consensus, and obviously we need it to be part of the board. But I also think it's important to understand everybody's reasonings, everybody's decisions, where they're coming from, where their mindset is. I feel that I grow tremendously when I hear somebody talk about a topic, where I hear their opinion and their viewpoint. They're very knowledgeable. Everyone on this panel is very knowledgeable. You're all knowledgeable. You can all give wonderful decisions and opportunities. So I think it's important to hear everything, make my way known, whatever I decide, and then to smile and say, this is what's best for everybody. I don't have to know everything and I don't have to be right. I just need to know that we're a community and that we're working together, and be grateful for that. Thank you.
Like this, Mike.
Okay. Omar, for everybody for this question, one word, or you can hold on a second. It's kind of, just gonna ask you for a number. Have you read the celebration 1 to 10 in the highest? How familiar are you with these governing documents?
I'm about a 4, so, I hear, that's one thing that, when it comes to, I have people that read contracts for me that are really good, our attorneys. But that's one thing that I really, I've been going through the bylaws, but I'm about a 4 right now. I think I'm on page 35. So I'm getting there,
I'd say I'm about a 6 on the bylaws in the charter. I've read it through fully twice. I skimmed over it some yesterday, anticipating this question. It's a big document. It's a lengthy document, but it's the ground rules for how we operate as a community. So a lot of the answers to a lot of the questions are actually found in the charters and bylaws. So, paint colors, sidewalk care, tree trimming, all those things. Most of them are laid out in there if you would take the time to read it.
I agree. And if you read the bylaw one time, you read the second time, you get confused. Don't do that. One time is enough. I'm pretty familiar with that, but do you want to understand what happened in celebration? Come to the meeting. Come to the meetings. We love to have people here watching the meetings, learning. It's amazing how you can learn about celebration. Come to the meetings. The people who is doing the meetings is amazing. They have a huge knowledge, and all my I believe. I don't want to be bad, but
You're not.
we are. Thank you. I prefer to don't judge myself about that. Thank you.
Thank
I would say I'm about a 3 or a 4. Funny story, but not so funny, is that I was not given everything that I should have been given when we bought the home. So something came up, I had some questions about it pertaining to the sign. And I found out yesterday that there was this charter and I was given the key pieces and that I'm going to email and I'm gonna get the whole piece. So I have been reading diligently the charter, kind of, smaller version over the last day. And like they said, everything that you need to know is in there and topic, then we go look at it. And I'm really good at learning, reading, maintaining it and making sure that everybody's doing what should be being done and knowing how to reach out now and get the help that I might need.
I'd say, I should have read it because I had a question last year and I will admit I have not read it. Okay, I'm probably a 3 or 4 because I have referenced it when needed and have asked people to send me this pertinent sections when I needed to look at something. So I have looked over certain areas as needed when needed, but I'm confident that if elected, I can read and understand and comprehend. Read, understand, and comprehend, I'm saying, read and understand the document if needed.
Next question. Have you read the 2024 Master Plan Advisory Group's final report? What are your thoughts about the report? What are your thoughts about making future investments in the community? Omar.
And I've not read, I haven't even seen it.
I love the plan. It's big, it's ambitious, it's needed. How do we fund it is really the biggest question of all, and on at the same time. So as a vision and a roadmap for a number of years forward in celebration, it's a very well thought out document. Marco, you served, Joe, you served. I remember going to the meeting at 851 where the community got to come in and give their input. And there were hundreds and hundreds of postcard or note cards with ideas from the community. I think what the team did by taking all of that information and synthesizing it into a discrete plan of step by step by step was a lot of work. And thank you for being a part of that. How do we pay for it is really the big question.
Master Plan Committee, Master Plan Advisory Group, then Master Plan Committee, in my opinion, was the best thing that happened to Celebration since I am a resident here. You can see over there every single thing that belongs to Celebration for the next 15 years, something like that. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. It was made from people who really knows about what they are doing. Mark Maturi is doing a great job. Technology. Joy is one of the members, the president for us. He's a great leader. Thank you, Joy. But Master Plan Advisory Group, I believe, is the best document that we have. And together with the reserve studio, we can go far and we can go big.
So I have not had the opportunity to read this year's, well, technically 2024. When we were first looking to purchase our home, one of the models over in Celebration Island Village, that is when I read it, and that's when we fell in love with Celebration. And we just realized, we still can't believe that there's still more phases to come. We just, like, when you walk away a little bit, you think like everything's gonna be magically done when you come back, and it was amazing to come back to what it became. But at this point, I would love another copy and I can get on that right away. So thank you.
I've read the Master Plan Advisory Group's final report. That's when I noticed that 2018 was the last time we've had any new amenities since CROA didn't pay for anything that Island Village has. I think that that's interesting that, you know, we always have that balance between new and versus maintain, and that's always going to be a struggle that we have. But I like the report in that it details various projects broken down, starting with the splash pad. It has a time frame for it. Actually, for the 851 building in that report, it says a decision needed to be made by November 24 in order to move in 26. So I think we're behind schedule already. So it's that kind of thing. I participated in those workshops. I went to that Post-it note event. It was great to see the participation that was there and see exactly how the team synthesized it. There's a lot of people in the community that I respect that participated and put in lots of time to get the various viewpoints of our community in that report, and I appreciate their effort.
Next question. How would you, we just talked about the future projects. Mentioned constantly question prioritize. So how would you prioritize maintenance of current facilities department, building appropriate reserves as needed, and new projects as outlined in master plan, coverage, and other documentation?
Is that me?
Yes.
Okay. I would start by saying that, the COLIC document outlining what the structural issues are with 851. We need a central place for Grand Manors to have office space, to have meeting space for the community. This room is not big enough to hold a really big meeting for the community like we did last year at Town Hall. So I would say 851 is a priority. Maintenance is a priority. Expansion with what the Master Plan Advisory Group has laid out, I think comes third. If I'm just looking at it from a monetary and immediate need standpoint, you know, Omar, you mentioned Lake Nona technology wise and different things. That's because it's a newer community and they made plans. And like Sarah said, the last new amenity was 2018. We have decided not to do certain things. And now it's time to pay the piper on the maintenance, on the repair. So I would love to do it all, but it's just a matter of money and priority.
Okay. Replacing Celia and Andrew is a really hard work because they are super active. I never seen celebration nobody as active, more active than Celia. And she had a great plan. She sent to the Parks and Rec and the master plan at that moment a huge plan for parks enhancement. And it's part of it. So in public, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Celia, for all you have done for us. So I believe that, like Bill said, the third part, in a line is the third thing that we're gonna take care of. We already have the proposal from, I believe, the Exquisite from Brian. But park enhancement, it will be like after 81 building for sure. If I can suggest if I'm being elected, I can suggest for the program, it will be my vote.
I think looking at it, the perspective of a new person coming in, I think it's important to look at the expansion, not only of where we are in Celebration here, but in Island Village as well. Because right now it's very nice. We've got a few little parks. We've got very small area for the older kids, which was brought up a little earlier. I would like to see if we're going to go into phase 2, 3, and 4, a deeper pool, more swim opportunities, the heated pool. I think well over maintenance as part of that as well. I'm constantly seeing people putting pools in because I'm walking a lot. It's been wonderful. And I don't know that they needed to do that if we had some more of those opportunities for everyone in the area, for all the families and children. I think that's a big piece of it, is that there is stuff missing for all the age groups. And looking into the 851 plan, of course, as being really important. And I would just like to see all the maintenance continue. There's a lot of pools going in, there's a lot of mud coming out, there's not a lot of cleanup on that. And just making sure that we're keeping the community so that we don't have to walk into the street if we have those beautiful sidewalks to bypass some of the things that might be going on in the area.
As I said, I think based on that master plan advisory document, we're already behind schedule on 851. November 2024, that was something, it was last year, it's a few months away. We really need to try to drive towards a solution with the information that we have and keep that top of mind, because maintenance will always be an issue. It's maintenance. Maintenance isn't sexy, but maintenance, what are we talking about even with maintenance? Are we talking about equipment, playgrounds? Are we talking about landscaping? What exactly are we talking about when we talk about maintenance? A big umbrella. So the day-to-day keeping house of the town of Celebration should be a priority. It's a street and we drive and people come because we all know that they come, it's our bubble, that it is the vision that we are proud of. If they don't see the orange tape or the orange fencing, that the mulch, you know, everyone, we put down mulch, $100,000 worth of mulch right before the hurricane season. You know, so 851 maintenance, and then the capital assessment that just passed, that will help fund the master plan advisory groups initiatives. So that does take some of the burden off the trust.
I definitely agree with everyone here being supported, especially Bill as well. In 851, once that's finished, it would be nice to have somewhere where the community can gather and communicate instead of always hopping along to different buildings. Definitely maintain and improve what we do have. As for amenities and expansion, you know, how can we bring in new money? My biggest thing is, okay, well, even if you have to buy a house here, well, you might have to pay a little bit extra, or even visitors that are coming in, are we charging them anything? How are we, as a community, bringing money in to make sure that we can afford the next expansion we're celebrating? Also, to some of the buildings that we do have here, are we having we've helped some extracurricular activities happen, such as dance schools and whatnot, go outside of Celebration. Why not keep them in here and then they can rent some of this building out? So something where we're always at least including some of our people that are bringing activities to the community and are in the community. What can we do then to at least make some extra income and use the buildings that we do have for it?
Okay, next, what improvements would you propose to better communicate and enforce CROA's rules and regulations?
Okay, communication.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a big gap about that, as I agree with you. So why fix 851 buildings is the right way? Why? So everybody's saying yes, fix, but why? Why you need to fix? In my opinion, first, because of the heart of Celebration. Second is because right now we have the management company spread for all Celebration. We have part of them in the Bank of America building, part of them in the Jones Room, part of them in the CCFC. So this is important. And how to improve the communication? I believe this is my weak point, because we used to follow the app and I'm doing great with that. I don't see any gap of communication from me. To improve that, I believe we can have a stronger app, because all the information that I need, if I don't have in the app or don't have the website, they are one phone call. Just call and have the communication. Right on the way, you have the answer.
I think for my perspective, it would have been nice, and maybe this exists, but you didn't know me, to have like a meet and greet for the new residents. To, you know, maybe once a month, anyone who's new or who's moved in or just built, or that would have been really wonderful. I sent my son to school not knowing a soul, and I made it this big move from California to here, that there was going to be kids outside and kids in the neighborhood. And he got off basically off the plane and said, "Where are the children?" And I didn't have an answer. They weren't outside, they weren't playing. I didn't even know that the school had a certain dress code that week. I happened to see it on Facebook the night before, and boy, did I shop at Universal. And I had to get him a lot of clothes and opportunities, and it would have been nice for somebody to say, hey, here's the charter, welcome to the neighborhood, do you know where I just asked where the dog park is. I mean, yes, I can read these things, but it would be wonderful when you're going through that move, especially across the United States, to get to know you, get to meet people other than, oh, I have to come in and I have to sign some papers to get my key tag. I'm constantly in the fitness room. No one's even said hello. They don't even know me. And it was so wonderful to walk in here tonight and really get to know some of the people that I've already met. So I really appreciate that. And I think that's one thing that we do need.
I guess to approach it a little bit differently, the communication, the Monday Matters, the different notifications and the emails that come out from management company, I find valuable. Perhaps there should be a section or a particular, Monday Matters, Friday Flash, Thursday, here's a tip, Tuesday, no one cares. I don't know. But something where you can get maybe a little bit about the charter. Maybe, I know that, for example, I know when I went to town hall one month, it said, this month we're focusing on landscaping. It would be great to know that people that didn't go to town hall, that this month, the inspectors are focusing on landscaping. Therefore, get your bushes replaced, because nobody wants one of those letters, so they can proactively, if they've been dragging their feet on it a little bit, they know this month we're focusing on landscaping. I don't know what they were focusing on the other months, but that kind of information is valuable to people. The My Celebration app is great. I don't understand the metrics though, in terms of why certain items are closed at a certain time, whether or not they've been addressed or not, that maybe could be communicated. But I find that in the community, some of us have been here longer than others, that when people ask, we're all very helpful with each other as neighbors and communicating that there is a dog park meeting on the 11th from 5:30 to 6:30. If you care, please come. There is a special event coming up, mother, son. Great opportunity. Please go. Father, daughter, beautiful event. Did you see that, Carrie? If you're new, you should go. The community will help educate.
Yeah, communication definitely needs to improve, and I think kind of find that funny as there's so many ways for us to communicate, and I think we over communicate half of the time. But I love the idea of, that's something that my wife and I talked about, like, why not, is there a package that when you come into the community where you find out when there is a daughter and a father-daughter dance and all the other things, the marathon, all the things that are going on, because I'm still finding out things that just blew my mind that I even know was as well. That's easy to navigate. To me, I think if we make something just as easy as an iPhone, just to navigate, the reason why a lot of people have them, they're simple, it's practical. And then as far as the board, I mean, definitely if we can all communicate with all the other boards to make sure that we're all the same page and that we're all pretty much going in the direction that we all want to be here as neighbors and board residents.
Last year, the communication committee really started to get its feet under it and really start to do more and more with that aspect of celebration. I think a great idea just came up. Maybe we need to have a welcoming committee staffed by volunteers that are going around that take a rotation, and when a new family moves in town, they're helping showing them around. I think that would be a great idea because it goes back to that service volunteer aspect that makes celebration so great. Can communication get better? Always. Can the app get better? Always. Can the website be better? Always. And those are things we just have to continually improve on as a community. So those are my thoughts.
Okay. Next question came from our audience this evening. Effective July 1st of last year, there were amendments to the Florida statute that required board members of homeowners association to require at least 8 hours of continuing education. There's lots of classes and courses online without necessarily seeing that course list. What are 2 or 3 general topics that you would be interested in perhaps getting better educated on that would perhaps enhance your service to the board?
I think for me, I would really like to know what's going on in a daily basis, kind of like the app I haven't actually even realized that there was that app. So just kind of saying, hey, little reminders. Today, this is what's going on if you have time to join. Not the magazine. The magazine's beautiful and it's fantastic, but you have to go through to find what's going on and what you want to do. So I think that would be something that we could take classes on, how to help our community become closer, help our community make friends with, young children making friends with, like a brother sister kind of club. Some sports. We just decided to try tackle football for our first time, and we had to drive out to Davenport. And I wasn't sure. It's called Celebration Youth Football, and they kind of gave me the background about that. And I didn't really understand all that, and now it seems like it would be better if they could come back to us. And I know that they were willing, but they're worried about the finances of that. So I think just little courses on, for substitute teaching, I just did all these courses. They take about 25 minutes a day. I think it's good to know our community, and it's good to just have those quick turnarounds that we can do while we're making dinner, while we're getting ready to come here, and do things in the community.
Not seeing the course list, like you said, I do believe strongly in continuous education. I tend to lean towards topics that are more financial in nature and risk management type issues. That's where my background is. I also have an interest in procurement, vendor management, those types of business procedures and operations. That's where my professional leanings are.
I'm very familiar with continuing education, that I have to do it every single year. But obviously, I don't know what courses are on there, but I think what would help is such thing as understanding property management, understanding budgets, communication, of course, marketing, even understanding a little bit about real estate law as well. So those are just some of the things that just pop up in my head from that. It has to do with
PROA and Canoa in the CJC is a multi-million-dollar operation. And so for me, I would be interested in those 8 hours learning about the fiduciary responsibility of the board members and the ever-evolving legal requirements. I remember there was a decision earlier this year about a vote that the law had changed and things needed to be brought into alignment with the change in the law. So I'm originally a programmer by training, so I love the logic of all that. So I think that would be where I would love to spend some of my 8 hours of required training.
Dre, beg your pardon. Just to make sure we are talking about the new resolution about you must have the board certification period 9 days after you get elected, correct? Is the new resolution is a law?
It's a law that says, board directors of large homeowner associations must complete 8 hours of continuing education training once you're elected.
You're correct. As a president of other HOAs, I already have it and addressed it to and sent to Grand Manors, I believe a couple of days ago. So I have all the certifications since 2016 every year, and I did it in October and did in January. But I'm already have it sent to Grand Manors. I'll be glad to spend 8 hours here on Friday to do again.
Yeah, I think we all agree whether or not it's legislated by Tallahassee. It's just a good idea. If there is a place where we can gain better experience in contract management, whatever the topic, it's probably something.
That's a very good question because all the board members, even who are serving, must have it.
Yeah. Okay, last question of the evening. So I'm going to start with you. I think we can all agree celebrations are a great community. If it's just, my experience here has been just wonderful. And so I think we hopefully will feel the spirit, and the excitement, and the joy and gratitude of living here. So my question, last question is, what specific ideas do you have to foster a greater sense of community and neighborly spirit?
I think specifically I do like the idea of a welcome committee, for the people that come into the community. I think part of it though is identifying yourself. You know, I recently had Tim Zelmansky come to my house. They just bought a new house to set up my ADT. Okay, and underneath the door, someone had slipped in a new welcome to the neighborhood. Please call me for your ADT. I'm like, how did they know? And they said, well, a lot of us look at Redfin sales, and that's how we know who's new in the neighborhood. Never even thought about that. But I did think also that when I bought my home, there was a packet that came. There was a packet, and there were orientations that were held. So maybe that's not being communicated effectively. But I think bringing people into the fold of our community is big, whether you see them at Food Truck Friday and just saying hi in line. You know, a lot of people at the board meetings I see, I don't actually talk to, but I might see you at the nail salon. I might see you at various events, and say hi, say I'm new, say where's the dog park. People will help you. If they don't know, they'll show you how to find it. If you have an issue, you can log it. We all work together. We have very competing agendas sometimes. We have very different time commitments that we can volunteer to the community, but we are all working together. So getting people in the spirit of our community as soon as possible is best.
I think they'll definitely touch on, I think I would love to see a welcome. Because that's one thing, even when I got here, we didn't have a lot about it. So we knew the basics, but we didn't know what else there was to do when everybody was swimming, when she wanted to play softball. We had that, started asking parents. So we really didn't know too much, but I would love for us to start like a welcome committee, and maybe even some kind of, if there is one, a celebration welcome Facebook page that we can direct people to, so that we can welcome them when they come in the neighborhood, and they can see what we are doing for the neighborhood. And then whatever questions they may have, then everything's just right there in black. If you want to come to meetings, you want to see what's going on, here's the different boards that we have, here's how you can actually participate, and here's all the activities going on, parks, etc. So I would love to see something like that.
Joe, when you were asking the question, I just wrote down on the piece of paper, serve, serve, serve. This community runs on its volunteers. The board are volunteers. The management company is paid for what they do, but most of the great things that happen in this community are done by volunteers. So get involved, continue to serve. I love what Sarah said, reach out, talk to people, but in the end, it comes down to relationships. And so make sure that in everything we're doing, we're always trying to promote and uplift good, healthy relationships in this community. We haven't talked much about the Celebration Foundation tonight. Celebration Foundation is another place where you can serve this community. So serve, serve, serve.
I agree 100%, Bill. Community place, technology, education, and health. This is part of a welcome package. We already have it. And if I'm not wrong, we already have a meeting, I believe monthly meeting that welcome new owners here. You can find everything there. And about a new committee, welcome committee, it will be amazing to have more volunteers serving. This is how Bill, like Bill said, how we build the community. Right now, I know the Grand Manors and all the committees is working an app for volunteers. So you have an email sent to you last week, ask you to, if you want to be volunteers, just you bought that last week, right, Lauren, or 10 days ago, something like that. So if you have a time, look to your email and fill the volunteer time. It's very nice. You can help for setting up parks, setting up events, sports, and everything. Volunteer, is what bring me to here. And I will keep supporting all kind of volunteer stuff. Thank you.
Yes, and I would love to also participate in a more traditional welcoming committee where we're not knocking on doors, but when we see somebody outside saying, hey, are you new here? You know, there's a couple of us new on the block. Let's get together and have a little picnic outside. Do you have any children? Going to the park and specializing in where the people are. If they're at the fitness, if they're at the pool, if they're at the playground, just doing little, maybe a cotton candy, little just, it doesn't have to be a whole humongous neighborhood expense, but just something that can say, oh, you live in kind of in that little circle, or you live in that area near me. Let's do something, have a little luncheon, something that we can just kind of get to know everybody, even playing catch, in the middle of the park. Some fun. I think that would be great. I think I was welcomed in a sense of the holiday spirit, because all the lights were out and that's what people were talking about. So that kind of stops you in your tracks and say, hey, I'm new here. I must have said that 100 times. And that was nice. But now I'm recognizing when someone is newer and I'm asking, did you just move in? Because I haven't seen them at that time of day. So I just think that's important. I'd love to volunteer for new moms if they needed just a little bit of a break, just to take a nap and things like that. So I think it's important to volunteer and be a part of your community.
Thank you all very much. We'll now have closing comments. We'll do it behind the region candidates. Hold on.
I just want to thank you, everybody, for this opportunity. Thank you for everyone attending and taking some time out of your day. Definitely excited if I do get voted on, then I'll understand that I'm one of you. So I'm one of your neighbors. I live here, I've been here for a while with these young girls. So I just want to thank you, everyone, for this opportunity.
This election is going to put two people on the board for 2 3-year terms. A lot's going to happen in 3 years. A lot of big decisions have to be made in the next 3 years. And so with that, I think we all should soberly vote in our interest of what we want as a community, vote for how we think the money should be spent. Because in a lot of ways, these decisions come down to finances and where the finance is going to be spent, how they're going to be spent. If I'm elected as a CROA board member, I really want to have constructive, capable, consensus-minded decisions. It's a board of 7 people. It's not a faction of 5 vote this way and 2 vote this way, or 4 vote this way and 3 vote that way. It's a board that's trying to do the best thing every time for every decision for Celebration. And so with that in mind, I just commit, if I'm elected, that I will bring that kind of servant spirit to whatever I do. And if I'm not elected, I'll continue to serve in this community. That's what makes Celebration great. So thank you for coming here tonight. Thank you, Joe, for the time.
Yeah. I would love to see here like 500,000 people here with us tonight. I would love to. This is a very important time. But I love it also to see half of the CROA board members here. Mike is a legend for the national park. Paul here for a long time resident. So that means a lot for us as a candidate here. I believe we all have the same thoughts. Vote for Marco. And we can vote correctly, properly by the documents, budget. Vote for Marco.
I just want to say thank you for having me here tonight and my son being part of this. I bet you this is pretty exciting, although him and his friend are probably actively trying not to listen to us. But I keep seeing smiles here and there when both of us are speaking. So, and it's great to meet all of you and be a part of this. And those of you at home, thank you for listening to us. And, whatever you decide, I hope that I will continue to be a part of Celebration. Thank you.
I think if elected, like I said, I'd like to continue the positive momentum that we have going on in the community. We have a lot of issues, a lot of challenges coming forward, same challenges that we've had previously with the 851, the maintenance, and continuing things that keep popping up that people would like addressed. I don't want it to be a situation where the squeaky wheel always gets the grease. All right. We should have priorities. We should focus and take on other items as needed. But we can't continually keep swerving into different directions because that's the last phone call we got. This is the latest one. These people are more active or vocal. 7 people representing an entire community, 7 people, very diverse views on certain ideas and topics, but 7 people that need to work together and represent the community using all the information that they have at their disposal to make the best decisions without any special interests in the background. And I think as an independent person who doesn't have my livelihood tied to anything, who doesn't necessarily need anything from the community, that is in a position to give back as much as we can, whether it be with ideas, emails to the board, my Celebration Florida, or actually sweat equity with bag check at a marathon. I will be in this community. I will participate. I've invested. I am here to continue that to represent all of you, if elected, to the best of my
Okay, well, listen, thank you all very much. This concludes the candidate forum. I want to thank you all the candidates for your time and effort, not only being here, but raising your hand to serve the community. I'd like to thank the audience online here in the room and many staff who are organizing this event. We'll see you all hopefully on Wednesday, February 19th at 6 o'clock. The candidate meeting great. With that, have a wonderful evening and thank you all very much.